So, the Texas State Board of Education is considering requiring Bible readings in public schools, which is great because when I think deeply personal spiritual journey, I think state government mandate with a grading rubric. Nothing brings you closer to God like, please turn to Psalms and this will affect your GPA. That's not faith. That's Jesus, but with deadlines. And I love the reaction split. Half of the people, finally! The other half, absolutely not. And the rest of us in North Texas are just sitting on I-35 like, I can't even merge properly. Why does Austin get to merge into my kids' theology? Now look, I'm not anti-Bible. I'm a Desert Storm Marine. I've seen people hold on to that book in places where hope had already clocked out and left a forwarding address. That's real. You know what's not real? Faith improving because it's assigned between algebra and lunch. Nobody ever said, man, I really found God because it was on the quiz. Now people say, we used to have Bible readings in schools. Yeah, we also used to think lead paint was a design choice. Context matters. And here's the part that people skip. Those Bible readings weren't neutral. They were whoever was in charge's version of Christianity, which worked great until other Christians showed up, and the Catholics said, that's not our version, and the Jews said, we'd like a word. And suddenly everyone realized, oh, forcing religion gets weird fast. That's how we got cases like Engel v. Vitale, where the Supreme Court basically told the government, hey, maybe stop writing prayers like it's a zoning ordinance. Because nothing says sacred like Section 4, subsection B, thou shalt comply. Now, fast forward. A state board in Austin, political, elected, statewide, has decided here are the Bible passages your kids will read. Jonah, Psalms, David and Goliath, Tower of Babel. Great stories, no issue with the stories. The issue is who picked them and why do they get to? Because if you live in Denton County, you already have churches, families, people who can explain faith without a PowerPoint and a committee vote. And now we're like, no, let's standardize this across 1,200 school districts because nothing says deeply personal belief like statewide uniformity. That's not spirituality. That's a franchise model. Welcome to faith, consistent experience no matter the location. And here comes the defense. It's just cultural literacy. Cool. Then where's the rest of the culture? Because if this was literacy, then where's the Quran, the Bhagavad Gita, the Tao Te Ching? Because if you're only picking one, that's not literacy. That's a playlist. And the government's the DJ. And right now it's like, we only play one genre. Here's the part that both sides ignore. This isn't about the Bible. It's about the power to require it. That's the issue. Because today you might like what's being assigned, but tomorrow, different board, different priorities, same power. And suddenly you're at a school board meeting in North Texas like, when did this happen? It happened when you said, it's fine, just this once. Government power is like giving your friend one fry. It's never one fry. Next thing you know, they've eaten half your meal and are explaining why it was for the greater good. Let me make this uncomfortable real fast. If next year the state said students will study Islamic texts as required reading, half of the people cheering right now would turn into constitutional lawyers overnight. You'd see folks Googling First Amendment, but like aggressively, and yelling, government has no place in religion. Correct. Congratulations, you got there. You took a weird route, but you got there. Because this never stays small. It starts with just a few passages, then just curriculum, then state standards. And then suddenly every election in Texas is who gets to redesign your kid's worldview this decade. That's not education. That's a subscription service for culture wars. Congratulations, you've been upgraded to Annual Outrage Plus. Here's the bottom line. Faith is supposed to be chosen, wrestled with, questioned, lived, not assigned, not graded, not standardized across 1,200 districts like it's a math worksheet. Because the moment the government steps in and says, we'll handle this part, it doesn't strengthen belief. It politicizes it. And once that happens, it's not about God anymore. It's about who won the last election and what they've decided your kid believes this year.